big baby. Hello. Don't hit your head on the mic. Oh, he's gotta sit right next to me. Hi, handsomes. Oh, a sweet boy. A sweet, sweet baby. Anyways, welcome on back, you guys. Oh, sorry, this is going to take some getting used to. But if you can see behind me, I wish I could do it. Wait, could I? I probably could do this. We are checking out Late Night with the Devil. Now, this one came out in 2023, which feels so long ago. I mean, I guess nearly 3 years. But this movie had, like, so much hype around it. I think David Desmalchin is, making his way up as, like, a real kind of figurehead in horror. And this movie definitely helped solidify that. But just the talk around this film was so hyped. And then, unfortunately, there was a controversy right before the movie was released. I'm 100% on the side of the argument of they're dirty for doing that. However, I will say it's not the actor's fault. It's probably not even like the director's fault or anything like that. I think that was a production studio choice, and if you've seen this movie, you also know kind of like what a joke the intro is. There's like, hold on. There are 7 production companies and 5 distributors. It's so unnecessary. You're sitting through at least like 2 to 3 minutes of just ads in the beginning. It's stupid. But I think that is what really kind of stuck the nail in the coffin almost a little bit for a lot of people in this movie. Is just, I think, how the production companies handled it, the use of AI in the background set pieces and the interlude like flashcards. Once you know it's AI, it's very obvious. I would even argue it was very obvious before. So, yeah, that did sour it a little bit for me. But I think now that there's been some time, we can discuss it. And I think this is also something we're going to have to deal with as AI continues for whatever reason and people just keep using it. Eventually, I think we'll come to a halting point, but we're not there yet. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for tuning on in as always. Side rant over. Diving into Late Night with the Devil. Now, I feel like this could maybe tread into the realm of found footage, kinda. I like that it's very well mixed, and it's really, I would argue, not found footage, but you are watching like through the recording lens, so it has that vibe to it. It also just has that kind of Halloween warmth that you want from a movie. I think it feels a little nostalgic, and yeah, I just think it's a good movie. I think it's ballsy too. So, we'll get into it. Written and directed by Colin and Cameron Cairnes. Box office for this movie was about $16.8 million. No, I am not listing all of the production companies. Live television broadcast. A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. David Desmalchin plays Jack Delroy. Ingrid Torelli plays Lily Diabo. Laura Gordon plays June Ross Mitchell. Ian Bliss plays Carmichael Haig. Georgina Haig plays Madeline Delroy. Faisal Bazi plays Christou. And Reese Atori is Gus McConnell. Now, I think it's a really great cast. Everyone does a really, really good job, especially Ingrid, who plays Lily. What an unnerving child. Oh my god, she's freaking creepy. But also, there's a complexity to her creepiness that I really enjoy, and I think you don't see too often in like possession or child possession. For me, what it was her insistence on looking into whichever camera was recording. It didn't matter that she was looking into a camera. If you notice, she switched every single time the camera switched. So if it went from like camera 3 to camera 1, you saw her switch with it. And I found that to be so intriguing. But yeah, so with that, let's dive right on in, guys. I'm excited for this one. I also do want to mention they bring up The Grove, which I just thought was so ballsy. You never hear Hollywood. Maybe that's why it became such a bitch to get produced. But you never hear Hollywood addressing The Grove kind of conspiracy. I mean, it's not really a conspiracy, it exists. But just that idea being played into this, I actually really liked. And I really like Jack Delroy's character because he's so complicated. The first few times that I watched this, I just kept feeling bad for him. And then the more I watch it, the more you kind of feel less bad. You realize that, like, he is a part of the same machine kind of that just takes people in and spits them out once they're no longer needed, essentially. And his fight within that, like his role within that, him being chewed up and spit out, but also like how it affects the people in his life as well, like the relationship with his wife. I think a lot of the characters in this movie are very complex and not so black and white, which is what I really enjoy. But I do think it was very ballsy of them to bring up the Grove and like this elite higher society that's kind of like the puppet master of everything, and how Jack is trying to appease them and get into their inner circle, and like realizing the loss that he's going to have to go through to get there. It's very, very interesting. So let's dive right on in, guys, shall we? Now, this one does take place right on Halloween, so we are getting in there, all right? It's Halloween movies from here on out. The film's prologue is framed as a documentary investigating an unexplained event that occurred on the night of Halloween, 1977. During the live broadcast of a 6-season episode of the successful variety late-night talk show, Night Owls with Jack Delroy, which competes for ratings with The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. Now, I do love that they placed it within the real world. We have Carson as kind of like this frame point, this understanding from our own cultural references for what Jack is supposed to be, what he's aiming for. And I think that like temptation almost, or teasing maybe even, like he's just always right below Carson. So it builds that animosity, but it also builds a desire and a lack within Delroy. And I find it interesting that he focuses on that lack regardless of like the longing for his wife. Because that's something we do, we start to uncover more about these characters as we go, especially Jack Delroy, who's just, it seems really overcome by the grief of losing his wife. But at the same time, like, kind of putting all that aside so that he can aspire for fame. Through his celebrity connections, Night Owls host Jack Delroy, who is based in New York City, makes regular visits to The Grove, an elite California camp for wealthy and powerful men. Y'all can look into that. It's real. It's weird, but you can look into it. I don't know if it's called The Grove, but there is a secret society kind of like that depicted just as it is in the movie. There's a giant statue of a owl on the grounds where like their meetings, rituals, whatever happens there goes on. It's very weird. Look into it. After his wife Madeline dies of cancer, Night Owls halts its production. We also learn along the way that Madeline's death is kind of like correlated with whatever Jack is doing over at the Grove. We'll get to that, but it all plays into each other. Jack ultimately returns, and in order to boost the show's low ratings, does a special occult themed episode on Halloween. But we even saw that, like, even though it was a heartfelt special moment, we do see it kind of brought back and used against Jack more towards the end. The scene of him doing an interview with his wife on the show. It's very sweet. It's very heartfelt. But then we're given this sinister, almost like perverted kind of aspect to it afterwards, once Jack is in that hallucination state. I think it's because, like, deep down he knows that that was to do, like, to exploit his wife and her dying for views. It's kind of like what this whole movie is about, is like, what are you willing to do for the thing that you want? And I think it's kind of a little obvious that Jack, as a very complicated character, once again, wanted fame more than his wife. Special guests for the episode include self-proclaimed psychic and medium Christou, a skeptic and former magician Carmichael Haig, parapsychologist author Dr. June Ross Mitchell, and June's latest subject, 13-year-old Lily Diabo, who is purportedly possessed by a demonic spirit. Carmichael promises to give anyone a huge check if they can prove that supernatural events do exist. I think it's like 500,000 or 100,000. I don't know. It's some large, crazy number that, like, obviously Carmichael does not want to depart with once it is proven. And I think that's another level of, like, greed, kind of, too. Emotional greed. Also, I would argue, even with Christou, a lot of people look at psychics as greedy people that are kind of preying on the, like, wants or needs of people, loved ones who have had someone that's passed. So I think, like, this whole kind of conversation of, like, who is taking advantage of who within this kind of, like, system of the studio that we have. I think the studio is kind of like a microcosm for the real world. And I find this movie very fascinating. I think there are a lot of little tiny things to sink your teeth into. During the broadcast, Christou experiences a premonition about someone named Minnie, which Jack reveals was his private nickname for Madeline. Christou becomes sick, projectile vomits a black liquid, and is rushed to the hospital. I also enjoy how it's like a kind of slow, steady descent into madness. And then once Lily comes out, it really just takes a very weird turn. In a good way, though. I really enjoy this movie. Some of the effects in it are... like, sometimes it's really good practical effects. And then other times it's really just shitty CGI. So, in the next segment, June introduces Lily, the sole survivor of a mass suicide by Satanic Church and its leader, Xandor Diabo, that worshipped Abraxas. Jack persuades Lily to communicate with the entity she claims possesses her, which she refers to as Mr. Wriggles. I don't know, there also feels to be like some Exorcist callbacks, I think, duh. It's just like the way that Lily looks when she becomes possessed. Also the voice and just kind of like, oh, Mr. Wriggles, Mr. Howie. Mr. Howie? Was that his name? Like having a cute nickname for this thing. During a commercial break, the crew informs Jack that Christou has died from hemorrhaging in the ambulance. And this is where we also kind of see, I would say you're starting to see Jack's kind of real character come out a lot more as these terrifying, horrific things happen and people get hurt around him. He's just kind of like there witnessing it, almost like the audience is, but he wants it to keep happening for the camera. So it's like that. It's a very complicated feeling. It's like, yeah, he has remorse for them, but like he just wants to keep the show going. So during June's conjuring, Lily becomes possessed and levitates in her chair, the demon notes having previously met Jack under the tall trees, revealing that Jack and June are romantically involved. Lily's possession then subsides, and the show continues. I think there might be an implication of like Jack's romantic interest also kind of getting in the way of the grief he has for his wife, or maybe the other way around, the grief of his wife getting in the way of whatever it is he's interested in with this doctor. I don't know if they had a relationship before or not. I'm not sure if it specifies that. Yeah, there's some chemistry. But I do really like the possession scenes, even though it's a little hokey pokey with the CGI. I think they are strong, especially towards the end. Jack is also given multiple chances to stop the show, like without repercussion from management or the studio execs or anything, and he chooses to continue. It's not the fear of failure, it's more so the fear of not being praised. And I think that's also a dangerous thing within the world of this movie. Carmichael challenges June by subjecting Jack's sidekick, Gus McConnell. I also like his character and their dynamic that they have. I don't watch late night shows, so I couldn't give you that type of reference. But I just love that like sidekick that they have really good banter and whatnot. This movie has a very comforting feeling to it. Jack's sidekick, Gus McConnell, to a hypnotism demonstration, which causes nearly everyone in the studio to see worms pouring out of him. When the production team rewinds the footage, it proves that the demonstration was merely a joint hallucination experienced by nearly everyone in the studio. Things start to get really effed up. I'm gonna warn you now. I would say it got kind of like a little much earlier on, but now it's like graphic, pretty violent. So fair warning there. There's some good special effects though in this movie. Sprinkled in with all the other stuff, there are some good special effects. Jack is horrified when he notices Madeline's ghost standing behind him in the footage, but Carmichael accuses him of orchestrating the events. Lily becomes possessed again. Her head splits open and begins to glow like lava. I love this part. Oh my god. And that is practical effect. Obviously all the light and whatnot isn't, but her head splitting open like that is practical. And it's violent. It's but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's not your typical kind of depiction of a possessed, but they also offer like your not so typical depictions of the devil. At one point, you see the whole crowd there, the whole audience watching, and there's just this silhouetted figure of someone in a very rudimentary devil costume. That works so well. She then brutally kills Gus and June. Yeah, the murders in this are brutal. Gus having his head snapped around, June being strung up and nearly decapitated by like her necklace. And the whole time this is happening, Jack is just standing there like unable to take his eyes off of it, but clearly wanting to get away. But he wasn't going to leave with the cameras running. Carmichael is finally convinced that what he sees is a true supernatural event. Oh, about time. And begs for life, only for him to be killed as well. Again, that like money and greed kind of trying to power over natural feelings. Natural. I think in this case, they're pushed into a supernatural realm for us to kind of not question it. But I think the two play into each other. Jack is suddenly transported to a nightmarish version of the show. I think this is his version of hell, in a sense. I think it is. Or a depiction of like a personalized hell. I really like it. I also like how he snaps out of it too. We'll get there. He relives moments from the show's past before it was revealed that he had a prior connection to the demon possessing Lily. During a ceremony at the Grove, he made a pact with the devil, sacrificing his wife's soul in exchange for fame and the success of Night Owls. Thus, he was indirectly responsible for Madeline's cancer. Madeline's ghost begs Jack to put her out of her misery as the cancer is causing pain. Using the ritual dagger from Lily's former satanic cult, he then stabs her to death, and the scene suddenly shifts to the now empty studio. Horrified Jack realizes he has stabbed and killed Lily. On live television, he stands over the bodies of his dead guests as police sirens approach in the distance. So, yeah. Jack is not a good guy. As much as I love David Dastmalchian, he plays a normal / sinister man very well, and that's terrifying. But I really like this movie, guys. Like I said, it feels warm. It just has a good vibe to it. Yeah, there are some issues with production and more so the studios, I would say, but I don't think that should negate all the hard work that other people did put into it. But yeah. I really enjoy this one. Really, really do. I mean, I like pretty much all the movies that we've been discussing, but this one just feels right. I was very excited for it to come out. I think they were a bit much trying to frame it as like one of the scariest movies of the year. Slow down. I think we could have done without that, without the building up anticipation for fear, when this movie made me think more than it made me afraid. And I love that. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts, guys, because like I said, this is a very kind of rocky movie, I would say, for a lot of people. Not that, like, oh, no one, people don't understand it. No, I think it presents itself as something that it isn't, which is okay. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I think a lot of people want it for what they thought it would be and not for what it really was. Plus, like I said, all the drama with the AI of it all and everything, that really soured this for a lot of people. And I understand that too. I didn't go and watch it as soon as it came out. When it came out, because of that reason, I was just like, I'll just wait. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts, guys. What do you think about this movie? What do you think about Jack's character in particular? I don't think we're supposed to necessarily like him. I think we're more so supposed to feel for the people that are kind of surrounding him, except for the Grove. But I found myself more so feeling bad for his wife, feeling bad for Lily, and I guess really them, but also June's character as well, because I think there was a sincerity there to her, and I don't think Jack shared that sincerity. But just my thoughts. Let me know what you thought, guys. Like and subscribe, all of that. I hope y'all are having a wonderful week, a wonderful Halloween season. It's almost Halloween, guys. I mean, just a couple more weeks, few more weeks. So excited. Thank you so, so much. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe, all of that. Maybe we will do channel memberships at some point. I don't know, though. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.